page 309. Mishi Yudei Laz. A person speaks another language, Yudei Ashuras, and he understands Hebrew. Any Yotzi Belaz. A person could read in Hebrew or could read in another language, and he chooses to read in the other language. The first opinion mentioned Shulchan Aruch not Yotzi. You'd say, maybe it should be L'chatchila b'di'evet. Right? Preferable is Hebrew. B'di'evet is another language. No, but according to the verse, any Yotzi. If you could read in Hebrew and you read in another language, any Yotzi, not Yotzi. Yeshom Sheyotzi. Oh, this isn't you are Yotzi. Even though it's preferable, Hebrew is preferable to another language. But nevertheless, if you read in another language, Yotzi Hagor. V'im ksuva b'shnei shonos. What about it's written in two languages? Mi shemivinim yotzu. See what the Rama. Whoever understands those languages, Yotzi. It's in Mishna Berura Yud. And Yotzi b'laz mashin nasim chabad listom k'dei zo. Because whenever the shofar always cites a secondary opinion, that means what is the primary opinion? The first opinion that's mentioned. It seems to be the Mechaber Shofar follows the first opinion. Komokum in chosim mevorech, sovi brochus lokel. Mizbar poskim dezu ein lo lahotzi afilo misha enu mevin b'loshen hakodesh. They came to Kuros lo mahani lo batzmo. Havel k'misha enu mechuy b'dovish enu motzach hevusay something chidush. According to the Mechaber, the primary opinion is the first opinion that if you could be Yotzi in Hebrew, you should not be Yotzi in another language, and if you are, you're not Yotzi. So let's say you have a third party who doesn't understand Hebrew, and you're the only one who could read, and you're going to read in that other language. It says, according to the Mechaber, you can't be Motzi that person. Why? Because you could only be Motzi someone if you could be Yotzi in that same context. But we're saying now, if you understand the Hebrew, you can't be Yotzi in another language, and the other party only understands the other language, you can't represent him to be Yotzi in that other language, because you're not able to read that, be Yotzi yourself in that language itself. So you couldn't be the Balkori. Okay? Because there's still a Yeshomrim. There's still a Yeshomrim. The Yeshomrim says that you are Yotzi. So, Yeshomrim she'odad dechomok v'namri Yotzi b'laz hainu shal kaponim tevas ha'chashtronim b'nei ramochim yikro b'lefnei b'loshen HaKodesh. He says, even according to the other opinion, there's certain words in Megillah which you cannot interpret. Achshtronim b'nei ramochim. We don't know what those words mean. It was a certain echelon of appointmentship in the Persian government. We don't know what it means, exactly what that was. So he says that should be read, like even if you're writing in another language, certain words should be transliterated into that language, the words that are written in the Megillah, which are Hebrew words. Okay? B'shnei Lashonos. Then the Ramah concludes, if it's written in two languages, could go mixas and Megillah b'loshen echod, or mixas b'loshen acheres. Half the Megillah is written in one language, the other half is another language. Yotzu b'di'eved, avol lachatchila enoch lios k'su b'shnei Lashonos. He says there's not a first choice. The Megillah should be written either all in Hebrew or all in whatever other language. It should not be half and half. And of course, you're going to read it half in one language. Seemingly, the Ramah. No, what I'm saying, the Ramah seemingly is going according to the opinion that the Balkore could be Yotzei in another language, right? Because if not, how could you be Motzi them? We're saying it's written half in Hebrew, half in another language. B'di'evet you could be Yotzei with that. So the reader, does he understand Hebrew? Unless you say, he only learned the first two chapters in Hebrew. He doesn't understand Hebrew. The first two chapters he studied in Hebrew. Beyond that, he doesn't. So therefore, the first two he understands that degree of Hebrew. Beyond that, he doesn't understand the Hebrew of the other Prokim. So therefore, the others, he reads in the other language. This is a b'di'evet. Okay? We're speaking about that. We're speaking. He understands both. So according to first opinion, the Mishna Berura says he can't be Motzi him. The Balkori cannot be Motzi that person. Doesn't, because again, if the person Balkori himself, because he understands Hebrew, could read in Hebrew, he says he's not using any other language. Doesn't make a difference. But you're not qualified to be motzi. It's only if you could be yotze in that language, you could be motzi. But if you cannot be yotze in that language, you can't be motzi anybody in that language. That's what we pointed out, according to the first opinion. According to the second opinion, it's optimum to read in Hebrew. But the Evid, you read in another language, even the Balkori is yotze. So then you could cover the third party. For the third party, that's l'chatchila. You can't be yotze in the other language. But if we're saying if you understand Hebrew, you cannot be yotze in another language. So that means if I would read in that language, I couldn't be yotze. So we're saying to cover someone else, it's only if you would do it yourself, you could be yotze. But if the Balkori himself would read it in another language other than Hebrew, would not be yotze, because he's able to be yotze in Hebrew. So he says, therefore, you cannot be motzi the third party, although that person only understands that particular language. And he says that's the primary opinion. I'm telling you, we don't have, like he said earlier, we don't have such a thing. There's no such thing as a Megillah written in any other language than Hebrew. Yud Aleph. Yesh limchos bi'arakorim l'noshim Megillah b'loshen Rav Laz. He says you should be critical and protest those who read for women the Megillah in another language, because women have the same obligation as the men. Al pi shiksuv b'loshen Laz. Although it's written in Laz, it's not Korach Bal Peh. It's written from the text. The person reading says, why? But factually, we said earlier, Hebrew, even if you don't understand Hebrew, if you read the Megillah in Hebrew, the listener is Yotze. Yesh limchos tamadover bishum dan hagvorim korim mivinim loshen hakorish. Yeah. Men usually understand Hebrew. Women don't understand Hebrew. Even in the time of the Shulchan Aruch, women did not understand Hebrew. So what's going to be? So if you're going to read for the women in another language, yesh lochush las haposkim, shesovrim hechshu meiv loshen any yotze b'kri b'las. So now we have a problem. Let's say a man has to be yotze motzi his wife, and she could be yotze in another language, right? She could also be yotze in Hebrew, as we said, Hebrew. Even if you don't understand the language, you could be yotze. But she can be yotze in the language she understands, because she doesn't understand Hebrew. So the husband says, look, if I'm reading for my wife in that language, I'll also be yotze. Together, as I read for her, I'll be yotze for myself, I'll be motzi her. But we have that other position. It's machlokas haposkim. If you understand Hebrew, you can't be yotze in another language. So therefore it becomes a problem. To be motzi the woman who doesn't understand Hebrew in Hebrew, as long as she hears all the words, she's yotze. But if I'm going to be motzi in another language, there's a chance the men may want to be yotze in that language. But there are many opinions, which is the primary opinion, they're not going to be yotze. So therefore, you should not read, even for the women, in another language, because you can create this complication. No, we're talking about the read. Again, the women don't understand Hebrew. But even if you don't understand Hebrew,
the reader has to also not understand Hebrew to be more for the women. The reader.
no, we're going according to there is an opinion. There is an opinion that even if the reader understands Hebrew, he could be yotze himself in Hebrew in the other language. The two opinions. I understand that, but we're saying so. You're going to rely on that. You're going to rely on that opinion that you could be motzi the others. But we're saying it becomes a problem, because if you could read it in Hebrew yourself, for yourself, where there's a chance the person may figure, I'll do one reading in the other language, we'll cover both of us. So, and there's a chance that you're not going to be yotzi even for yourself. Forget about covering the other person. But you're right. According to that other opinion, you couldn't. According to that opinion. Right. Correct. Right. You'd have her say her own bracha. No, she couldn't say it. She couldn't say it herself also. You would read it without a bracha according to this. Sure. Yishloch la'aspos shov hechashu mevin lo shnakosh eni yotzi b'kriya b'laz mela eni yochel hotzi b'kriya zu af mishein lo. He brings this out, David. He points this out. He says, according to this, If we're concerned for that other opinion, he couldn't even motzi the woman in the other language. Mele yochel otzi akrizu af mishenu meifim loshen kodesh chanal. Vod mishdach shrone b'nei ramochim sheni yudu b'laz shelahim. He says that certain words which cannot be translated into another language. We only read it in the Hebrew. Vimtoma yikra hachshrone b'nei ramochim loshen kodesh yishlom da'os lechatchil l'krosa b'shtei loshonos. Api sheksu b'laz. The iloksu belaz rakma'ayin metargim belaz. We said earlier, if you have a Megillah written in Hebrew and you translate it as you read it along, read as you go, everybody agrees in that Yotzei. That's Korach Peh, because you're not reading the text itself as a Hebrew text and using the text only as a basis for translation, right? So there's nothing to talk about. Harei havali Korach Peh kedleo b'lafochi lo yo kosa achron da'afil hakorim b'shnei yomim lahachmir gabkin likro belaz. Okay. You have you read on both days. Let's say you live in Tveria. So even Tveria, what is the primary day? Primary day is the first day. Because we had earlier that in Tveria, you say a bracha only the first day, the second day you don't say a bracha. But since the majority of communities read them the first day, that is the primary reading. You read it again, so he said maybe the second day you could read it in another language. He says no, should not, even the second day should. Pasak, you're only reading because you may have an obligation. So if there's a chance you're not going to be Yotzei because it's another language, you definitely shouldn't read in that other language. Even for the women in that community. Okay? Again, this says no Rebbe. I don't think you'll find a Megillah written in any other language other than Hebrew. I mean, on parchment. I'm not sure. Today you can find new things are coming out. You have all these movements. Now more than ever, really serious stuff, which are undermining the foundations of Yiddishkeit. You know, these movements. It's much more serious than a women's prayer group, field group. Much more serious than that. This thing up in Riverdale, this Avi Weiss, what he's doing, is destroying Yiddishkeit. He's innovating certain things he claims is within the context of halacha, which is not. Even though he claims it's orthodoxy, it's not orthodoxy. Different things. I'll give you articles written on what he's done. Different things. He's the posek, and he's training rabbis, and he's putting them into various pulpits throughout the country. And in a certain way, over time, they're having tremendous influence over communities. It's not modern. It's a whole different brand. Modern, you do this, you do that. It's a whole different way of doing things, which is contrary to the halacha. Contrary to the halacha. I mean, he was even sanctioned by the RCA, by all of them. I mean, he's the greatest threat to Yeshiva University in terms of what he's doing. His ordination and the type of ordination. He ordains. He also ordains. He ordains women. Even halachic, that they're halachic poskim women, which it's problematic. Certain problems with it. Whatever it is. I'm not talking the different types of that. He has something. I forget what they call it. It's like a rabbi. It is a rabbi. It's more than just a halachic expert. Certain rabbinic positions. Okay, let's see the Chos Levavos.